Welcome everyone. This is the introduction to the Centre for Doctoral Training in Machine Learning Systems. I am Stephanie Robin, the CDT manager, and in attendance for the CDT today, we have Amos Storkey, who is the director of the CDT. We also have Jack Lee, who is the CDT administrator. And we have two students in attendance as well, Yangshen and Benjamin. I'm going to hand over to Amos Storkey for the first part of the presentation, which is the program overview, and I'll take over for the application and selection process.
So thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. My name is Amos Storkey. I'm Director of the Centre for Training in Machine Learning Systems. So we will give an overview of the whole Centres for Doctoral Training program and some details there. Great. So the CDT in Machine Learning Systems is based at the University of Edinburgh. So some of you will know Edinburgh, others will not. The University of Edinburgh is a long-standing university in Scotland, based in Edinburgh, founded in 1582. And it's a fairly sizable university, so it has quite a few different students, as well as a lot of staff, and it's highly ranked in the world rankings, highly ranked in the UK, and we are a research-intensive university, so there's a significant focus on doing cutting-edge research in different fields. The School of Informatics is one of the departments in the University of Edinburgh. We call them schools, and it too has a high standing. It's been ranked 1 for some while in the UK Research Excellent Frameworks. So that's in terms of its research power, so the amount of research that it produces overall. And it's a fairly broad department, so it goes beyond a kind of narrow idea of computer science and encompasses very wide areas of artificial intelligence, cognitive science, data science, as well as, say, computational neuroscience, and a lot of language modeling or language understanding as well. So it's quite a broad department with a lot of staff. We have about 300 academic staff, and in the department, about 2,000 taught research students, so 600 basically PhD students. We also have a lot of other links in terms of business development teams working with companies, with government partners, etc., to enable our research to be kind of transferred and used in other contexts. So let me tell you a little bit about what a Centre for Doctoral Training is. These are one of the methods, one of the primary methods the UK uses for funding PhD study. So it is a funded programme, funded by the UK Research Council, so UKRI, and it is a cohort-based programme usually. So for our CDT, we'll have 5 cohorts of approximately 12 to 15 students, and those cohorts will be working together in a related area. So for us, that is the machine learning systems area. And these cohorts are embedded in the schools and departments and work with an existing PhD community, but they're also resourced. They have a dedicated management and support team to help with the program as a whole, and they're resourced in terms of training, travel funding, and other things like that. So over the course of a CDT program, you'll be studying for a PhD. A PhD, you might be asking, is a PhD the right thing for you? So what I'd like to say here is a few things to bear in mind as you consider PhD study. PhD is really all about research. It's research in collaboration with others, supervisors, partners, peers. And the key thing is that it's a break from university study. It's not the same as maybe what you did in your undergraduate or what you did in a master's, in the sense that it's not all about learning things that are presented to you. It's really about research, the production of research, and there's a lot of learning, but that learning is helping you in the process of defining the problems for that research, building the solutions for that research. So it's much more directed learning, but it's also much more uncertain learning because you're working at the cutting edge. It's not obvious what you need to learn in any setting. So working out what you need to learn is part of the problem. PhD has many future options. So a lot of our students go up into company research positions. Some of them become academics, some of them go into kind of company management settings, others work in startups with specific problems in mind. So there are many different directions, and that's not exclusive. People do lots of different things, and the opportunities are quite broad. So our CDT in machine learning systems is fully funded for 4 years. So that includes a stipend, the university's fees, and research costs for the program. And it is a PhD program, but it's a PhD program with integrated study. So that is, there are some credit-bearing courses over those 4 years that you take over the course of that PhD. And that is quite flexible. We'll tailor that study to your requirements and to your needs. There are a number of things that the CDT as a whole needs to do, but there are a number of things which are you can make specific to you and specific to your particular direction. We also have a considerable connection with different industry and company partners and engagement with those partners in terms of a number of events. And we have an internship built into the program, so that allows you to do internships with the companies or have research visits for those. Typically, internships with companies are paid employment within the company, and they can be quite informative as to how things work in that company setting. So the point of our CDT is to look at the connections between machine learning and computer systems. So often our students are coming in either with a machine learning background or a computer systems background. But what we expect them to do is develop their machine learning methods, aware of how those methods are going to need to be implemented in real world settings and considering the interaction of those, or develop their computer systems methods, understanding that a lot of these are being used at the moment for deploying of machine learning and AI tools, or that there are ML tools that are available to help make the computer systems methods better. So the website has a number of example projects on, but there are many others. You can look at the students on the CDT already, and they have example interests that those students are involved in terms of their projects too. So the CDT training is broken down into a number of different things. There are credit-bearing courses. So key one there is that most of our students do the machine learning systems course, unless they've already done it before. And they do the controversies and data society course. And then there are other courses that you can select from to suit your individual needs. And there is also a kind of research project which kickstarts your PhD. There are also then transferable skills and other activities in terms of the CDT. Those are listed there. I'm not going to go through those individually, but they're an important part of the CDT. And there are personal training opportunities made available to you to help you in your particular research project or your particular career goals. So the CDT provides us with 4 years of UK funding. So that's tax-free from UK tax. So that's typically about 20,000 or 20,500 pounds per year over those 4 years as a stipend. It pays for the tuition fees, and it also provides research costs. So that will be £6,000 per student, and that can be topped up if there's a need for specific travel, specific projects, and also standard IT equipment, etc., is provided, as well as kind of GPU, compute access, and other compute access as you need it. For home students, this year we're part of an additional scheme, which is called the Tech Expert Scheme. So this is a government scheme that allows an additional enhancement of the stipend of £10,000 for UK students. So that is students who have a right to stay in the UK and have been resident in the UK for a period of time. The CDT also has a number of associated industry partners, so those are listed there. Again, those are changing all the time. We're having additional partners joining the program. And as part of the CDT, there are a number of advertised projects that are co-funded with our partners as well. So as well as the standard process by which you apply in general to the CDT, there are specific projects that are associated with partners that we advertise that you can also apply to. And as we mentioned earlier, there are many options as to what you might do after this machine learning systems PhD, but we typically find that a CDT like this provides significant added value for those who are going on to further research, either within a company setting or in an academic setting, or who are going into managing kind of AI development, providing you the connections with the people and the methods that there are so that you're understanding that, or who are working at commercializing research as well. So there are many directions, but those are some directions that the CDT provides, or the PhD provides really significant added value for, but often our PhD students develop over the course of their PhD and work out their particular directions that they want to go in, and some of them go off and do quite interesting things. So I'll leave that there, but if you have more questions about that, do ask. We will point you to the training grant terms and conditions. So these are things to be aware of if you're applying or if you accept a post. What I will say is that things have improved significantly over the years in terms of PhDs in the UK. And certainly you're provided with things like annual leave, medical leave, or family leave, and things like that. So different sorts of support in cases that you need it, as well as a disability support allowance if that is appropriate. So there's a lot of provision within our training grant terms and conditions for support for PhD students in that sort of way. But we also have a lot of different student support services that you can call on as you need them or link up with. So those are all available to all of our students, and you can develop in those ways there. Great. So I think finally I will say something about living in Edinburgh. So Edinburgh is a capital city. That's the capital of Scotland, and it has many of the benefits of a capital city, but it's also quite a small city. So it's very walkable, aroundable, so it's easy to get around. It's a beautiful place, quite dynamic city, lots happening, and especially over August, there's a large arts festival that happens in the city every year as well. So there's plenty going on. Many people come to Edinburgh and decide not to leave. It's not the hottest city in the world, so we're up in Scotland, so things don't get very hot in the summer, but they also don't get so cold as a lot of places. So it might get down to freezing in the winter, and there will be a few days where it gets lower than that. But most of the time, it's a temperate climate that we live in, and not too wet, fairly dry on the most part. So it's an enjoyable place to be. I think if you apply here and come here, you will like it. Certainly many of our students enjoy their time in Edinburgh. Great, thank you very much. I'll hand back over now to Stephanie for the second part.
Thank you, Amos. So now I'm going to go into the details of our application and selection process. So let's start with the funding eligibility criteria. So the funding comes from the UKRI, and UKRI says that all applicants, regardless of their nationality and country of residence, are eligible to apply. That means that all appointees, regardless of their nationality and country of residence, will receive a fully funded studentship. However, we do have a cap on the number of international students that we take on board of the CDT every year. For the ML system CDT, this is a maximum of 3 international students per year. Therefore, it is very important for you to know under which fee categories you will fall. You could be either home fees, and that will apply if you are UK national, an EU student with a UK pre-settled status or settled status, or a non-EU students who have indefinite leave to remain, and some Irish nationals. But you also need to comply with a 3-year UK EEA residency immediately before the start of the degree. So that is for home students. If you are not in any of these categories, then you will get international fees. There are some exceptions to this, and this is listed on our website. There's more details on our website on the fee status categories. If you are in any doubt on your situation, you can email us and we can look into that for you. In terms of the university entry requirements, so those are university-wide and not CDT level. In terms of academic eligibility criteria, we require you to have a 2-1 undergraduate degree or an equivalent if the degree has been obtained abroad. We also take into consideration any relevant work experience or master's degree as well. However, a master's degree is not a requirement to apply for an ML system studentship. We have English language requirements as well. If you're a non-native English speaker, you will need to prove that you have a degree that has been taught and assessed in English with some criteria to be respected. Or you will need to provide an English language test. Our website has a list of all the tests, the English language tests that are accepted, and you can find out more information about these. If you are not an EU, EEA or Swiss national, you may need an ATAS, which is an Academic Technology Approval Scheme clearance certificate to study on this program. So that will apply to some of you as well. This is an overview of our application process. This is in 2 stages. So the first stage is what we call the first stage application form that you need to submit online. And after that submission, we'll get back in touch with you and give you some feedback, and we'll invite you to submit a Euclid application, so a full Euclid application if you've passed the first stage assessments. And then we move on to stage 2 of the application process. You submit your full application on the university system, and then we assess your application with the supervisors as well. So we look at your application with the supervisors. In between those stages, we will get back to you and give you a brief feedback as to why you may have been rejected at these stages. We have 2 different pathways to apply for one of for a project on our CDT. The first one is what we call student-led PhD projects. So candidates have an idea of a PhD research that fits with the CDT remit and which they like to pursue. They approach a supervisor and find someone that is willing to supervise them. And they then submit a summary of their research proposal on the first stage application form. If they're invited to do so, they will then have to submit a full research proposal through the Euclid application, so in stage 2. The final PhD project will be defined in year 1 by both the students and the supervisors. So it might be different from the research project, the research proposal that you submit as part of your application. The second pathway to application is to apply on one of our company-linked PhD projects. So those projects are published on our website. They are predefined because they have been put together by a supervisor from the university and also a partner, most of the time an industry partner, who is contributing financially to the studentship. So in that case, we still have the candidates to contact the primary supervisor of this project to check that the profile is suitable. And as part of their first stage application form, they need to provide a fit to project statement. So how they think they fit their best, a good fit for that specific project. If they're invited to do so as part of the stage 2 application, candidates will have to submit a research approach document detailing how they are going to approach the project and to tackle the challenges of the project. So those are our 2 pathways to application. So in a summary for our application process, these are the 4 steps. First step is to get support from a supervisor. So approach any supervisor that is a potential good fit for your project, or contact the supervisor that is named on a company linked project and get the discussion started with them. And step 2 is to submit the first stage application form, which is an online form that you need to complete. And if you're invited to do so, you move to step 3, which is the submission of a full application on our Euclid system, which is the university application system. And step 4 would be then to wait for the outcome of your application. In terms of the timing, we've got a few different application deadlines. Because we have 3 different rounds of recruitments. The first run is for all applicants, so both home and international applicants. The applications are now open and they will close on the 11th of December 2025. We have then 2 further rounds of recruitments that are only for home applicants, and the dates are indicated here. So basically, the applications will close early February and then towards the end of March for the 3rd round. Some company-linked projects will be published as they become available, and that means that they might have a different deadline for applications. So for these projects, you will need to check carefully on our website the advert of the project, which will mention the deadline for application. On the CDT machine learning systems, we are well aware that not every student have had the same changes in their life, and we are committed to widen the diversity of our cohorts. For this, we have an EDI and widening participation form through which we collect information from our applicants. This allows us to know who our applicants are. This will also allow us to support applicants from our underrepresented groups. We can monitor the widening participation data across the selection cycle. And this is also a way for us to comply with the EPSRC EDI data collection. So some of our underrepresented groups on the CDT are specifically female students, students from ethnic minority backgrounds or with a declared disability, students who are part of the first generation in their family, first generation to attend university, students who have caring responsibilities, who are from lower socioeconomic backgrounds, who are care experience, Eastern students, etc. There are a few other categories that are detailed on our website. This information is not disclosed to supervisors or selectors. It is kept confidential and it is voluntary. It can be left blank if you want to, but we really encourage you to give us that information. We also have a special circumstances field on our first application stage, where you can disclose any circumstances and barriers to your study or opportunities. This is important for us to know, and this is disclosed to supervisors and selectors so that can take that into consideration when assessing your application. We also have different methods to support our applicants. We are holding these information sessions, and you will get the recording of that session. There's also already a recording of another session on our website, so you can look at this very, very soon if you want to. It's there already. We also post the slides of the presentation if you prefer. We also have some frequently asked questions on our website, which cover the whole application and selection process. So you can refer to that too. If there's any other questions, we are always available to reply, and you will get the email address at the end of this presentation. So just to go through a brief overview of our selection process, we've covered the application stage in 2 different stages. Once your full application on Euclid is in, we will screen your application for completeness and relevance, and we'll pass it on to supervisors for review. Then we reach the supervisor selection stage, by which supervisors will look at your applications and shortlist their preferred candidates. They will then arrange interviews and will be in touch with you directly about this. And after the interview, supervisors will nominate their selected applicants to the CDT. The final stage is the CDT selection, looking at all the candidates and making offers. We have some post-offer visits as well. So before you accept your offer, you can come and visit us and meet your prospective supervisors and your prospective peers as well, before you accept or decline your offer. And then we operate a reserve list, and we will keep everyone updated on that reserve list until all our offers are accepted. In terms of timeline, this is how that translates. I've said that the first stage application form for the first round, the deadline is the 11th of December. If you're invited to do so, you will be required to submit a full application on Euclid by the 22nd of January 2026. Then the shortlisting process will happen between late January and late February, with interviews around that time. First round of offers will be issued by the beginning of March, but the reserve list and the offer process means that it can take until the end of May for you to receive an offer from our CDT. This is the timeline for the first round of recruitment. So what we are looking for in general in an applicant, 3 different things really. Scientific skills, you need to have a substantial knowledge of the background methodology. We need you to have a good mathematical understanding and capability. We need you to have clear computational and software engineering experience and good basic computer science understanding. In terms of research skills, it is good if you have clear experience of doing research and the level of capability at that research. We appreciate that you won't all have an extensive research experience, and that is all fine. But as long as you can use any research experience that you've had in the past, that's good to show that you have an understanding of what that involves. And we want you to have to show evidence of scientific writing capability as well. In terms of professional and transferable skills and competencies, we are looking at you showing substantial proactivity, showing evidence of diligence and honesty, rigor, showing evidence of friendliness, a care for others. The CDT is a code-based program, so it's very important that you are prepared to share and to collaborate with others. And then evidence of excellence. So if you have any awards, prizes, publications, any achievements in your past studies, that is something that we would like to know as well. Some tips for your application. The first one is to plan ahead, because potential supervisors can take time to reply to you, and that is very important for you to contact them before you put an application in. Make sure you read the application guidance in full before starting your application, so you know what you have to do and what to expect. Take your time to prepare your first application form. There's a downloadable version on the website, so download that document first and go through all the questions before you start your online submission. In short, do not wait for the last minute to submit your form. And make your application count. Ensure you have support from one or more supervisors. Use the first stage application form statements to demonstrate the skills, experience, and the knowledge you will bring to the CDT. Make sure that your research summary is detailed enough to give us a good overview of what you propose, what your research will look like, and what problems you are trying to address. And adjust your research proposal to the CDT remits. The project needs to include both aspects of machine learning and systems. So this is the end of my presentation. So to summarize, the first stage application deadline for the first round of recruitment for all home students and international students is the 11th of December 2025. This is for September 2026 entry. This is the email, the website address, and the email to address any queries is mlsystems-enquiries@inf.ed.ac.uk. And any questions there will be picked up by either myself or Jack, our administrator.